Alright folks, a couple of days ago, I made a tweet and a YouTube community post saying, what do you guys think are the most underappreciated seasons in Fortnite history? Just those seasons that don't seem to get enough love. And today, guys, I'm going to react to some of the most liked comments under those posts. If you do go on to enjoy this video, be sure to leave it a like, use code TYFRYZ in the Fortnite item shop as always, and yeah, let's talk Fortnite seasons. Alright, the most liked reply that I got on any of those posts was from this fella on screen, and you know what? He says, Chapter 2, Season 3, one of the most fun seasons of all time, and it gets overshadowed because it's wedged between two goats, but people fail to realize it's a GOAT season too. And while I won't go as far as to say it's a GOAT season, I would 100% consider this to be an underappreciated Fortnite season. He's absolutely right by saying that this season gets overshadowed because it is wedged between two GOATs. He's referring to obviously Chapter 2 Season 2 and Chapter 2 Season 4, which I genuinely believe to be top 10 Fortnite seasons we've ever seen. But you can't count out Chapter 2 Season 3. This was still an incredible Fortnite season. Like, how do I explain this? I think if you took Chapter 2 Season 3 and put it into Chapter 6, or honestly even Chapter 5, it's probably the best season in either of those chapters. Alright, look, I know that might be a stretch, but seriously, once the water finally died down, this season was unbelievable to play. You had great mobility like Jules' glider gun, Kit's shockwave grenade launcher. Pair that with those unbelievable mythics you had like Jules' drum gun and Kit's charged shotgun. Remember, they vaulted the pump during this season. That was a huge deal. It is a perfectly themed season for Summer Fortnite, which of course it was. It came out in June 17th of 2020. How can I forget Ocean's Bottomless Chug Jug, Ocean's Burst AR, the introduction of the Charged Shotgun, the Epic and Legendary Hunting Rifle, the Rapid Fire SMG, and the Common, Epic, and Legendary Rarities. Some great locations like the Authority, you know, the Fortilla. Obviously, we're not going to talk about Marauders. Those were not a highlight of this season. And maybe most importantly, you had cars introduced in this season. That is a massive thumbs up for this season, considering that cars are one of the most integral parts of the game so far. Cars are legitimately everywhere, and without this season, we wouldn't have gotten cars. So yes, to make a long story short, I think this is a criminally underrated Fortnite season. All right, next we've got Super Brawler, and he says Chapter 4 Season 4. It had a crazy good loot pool, like all the mythics that came back, and had some good lore. The POIs were really good. The vault fights felt really fun. Definitely super underrated, and the skins in the battle pass were decent. And for the most part, yeah, I would agree with that. I think Chapter 4 Season 4 is an underappreciated season. I feel like, to me, again, this is one of those Fortnite seasons that just totally fell under the radar. You potentially could chalk that up to a lot of players just quitting during Wilds in Chapter 4 Season 3 and then just not coming back until Chapter 4 Season OG. He talks a lot about lore and skins in this season, and for me, you know, I'm really focused on the gameplay of the seasons here. Of course, those are important factors, but for this video's sake, we're really focusing on that gameplay. You had some great weapons in this season, right? I immediately think of the Twin Mag AR when I think of Chapter 4 Season 4. I mean, that thing was absolutely busted. Of course, the Rocket Ram, an unbelievable mobility item. I absolutely love the look of the POIs this season. Like, Eclipsed Estate looks stunning, and it felt amazing to play in as well. I think it's one of the best Fortnite locations of all time. And yes, as you mentioned in your reply, all the mythics that came back really helped this Fortnite season. Now look, I won't say all the mythics I was crazy about. Like, I don't really care about Zig and Choppy's ray gun or TNTina's Kaboombo or Ocean's Bottomless Chug Jug, but bringing back weapons like the Foundation's MK7, the Kit's charged shotgun, like, these are iconic Fortnite weapons that felt so good to use in a match of Public Battle Royale after not having been available for a long time. That was a great idea by them, and to kind of mask it with, you know, being able to steal them, and the whole heist theme was genius. And it's just like, I'm on the Fortnite wiki now, and it's like just scrolling through all the things that just got added through this season over and over again. It's unbelievable, right? Like, you had the Todoroki ice wall, the Jedi training lightsaber, Deku Smash was unvaulted. It just keeps going, and I don't really think players consider this to be, you know, a maybe top 10, even top 15 Fortnite season, but honestly, I think it should be there. Next, Stacy says Chapter 2 Season 7 because all the weapons and items added were so much fun, like the inflatable Gravitron UFO, and even though it was bad, the ray gun was so much fun to use. And for the most part, I agree with this take. My most underappreciated Fortnite season in my head is Chapter 2 Season 7. This Fortnite season is a classic. I love it so much. It is easily a top 10. It might even sneak into my top 5 best Fortnite seasons ever. Now, here's what I'll say. While all the items added were fun to use, that doesn't necessarily mean they were good, right? The Gravitron is arguably the worst weapon in Fortnite history. The Propifier was horrible. Like you say in your reply, the ray gun, I mean, that thing is horrible. But it all culminated in this awesome alien theme, which, by the way, we are getting in Chapter 6, so, you know, good luck following up this season. The inflatable, great mobility item, recon scanner railgun is one of the best dual weapon combos we have ever seen in this game. I love it so much. The mothership minigame, like, just unbelievable. That mid-game objective set the floor for, you know, ones like Godzilla and Armor of Doom in the future. The pulse rifle, like, everything in this season to me is just really, really good. And you needed a good Fortnite season after Chapter 2, Season 6. Like, at this point, the game was hemorrhaging players. You had to somehow bring players back. And I could literally make an entire own video just dedicated to Chapter 2, Season 7, which I probably will do at some point in the future. Because honestly, I don't have enough time in this video to talk about all the features that were in this season, but this season is absolutely underappreciated, 100%. And all right, we're going back to Chapter 4. As Cameron says, Chapter 4 is Season 1. Most of the Chapter 4 praise comes from Season 2 and 4, but Season 1 is on that level and has one of the best metas of all time: Red Eye, Twin Mag, Thunder Shotgun, and Hammer. I would 100% with the argument that this season has one of the best metas ever. Honestly, I think it kind of depends on whether you enjoyed the Shockwave Hammer or not, because every single person had the Shockwave Hammer, and I will say sometimes it felt like if you didn't have a Shockwave Hammer, you were at a significant disadvantage. And like you said in that post, I feel like when you think of the best season in Chapter 4, everybody immediately goes to Chapter 4 Season 2, but Chapter 4 Season 1 should be in that discussion as well. Shout out Faulty Splits, like my absolute goated POI. Call me crazy for this take, but I think Chapter 4 Season 1 would be the best season in Chapter 3, Chapter 5, and Chapter 6. That is seriously how much I believe that this is a fantastic Fortnite season, and it never gets the love it deserves, of course, in my opinion. All right, we're going to Chapter 5, surprisingly, and Aaron says Chapter 5 Season 4 gave us so much. New LTM, Battle Passes can come back, Marvel Mythics, Doom Island, which opened up stuff like Godzilla and the Star Destroyer, and now Superman with the boss mythic type theme, gave us a peak Fortnitemares and many, many map changes. And yeah, I would say Chapter 5 Season 4 is underappreciated because it's hated on by the Chapter 5 generational haters. And again, like, so many people quit during Chapter 5 Season 3, and you really needed a good Fortnite season to bring back those players, and I think Chapter 5 Season 4 did that. In my opinion, this is the best season from Chapter 5. And to me, the only thing that holds it back from being a top tier Fortnite season is just War Machine's hover jets and how strong they were, and how, you know, Mosquito Shooting Simulator just, to me, sometimes felt so lopsided, those fights when you didn't have a jetpack. Whereas like something with the hammer from Chapter 4, it didn't feel crazy lopsided if someone else had a hammer and you didn't. They just felt like they had an advantage over you. But yeah, like all the boss mythics, especially thinking of like the Arcane Gauntlets and the Mystical Bomb being put into one. And I know this isn't a fault of this season, but I just can't stand the projectile weapons. Like, I can't help but feel like this season would have benefited so much from hit scan weapons since everybody had hover jets and was just flying everywhere. I mean, it was hard enough to hit somebody with projectile weapons, and you add those things in there, it just makes it 10 times harder. I feel like when you talk about Chapter 5, the majority of people will say the best season was probably Chapter 5 Season 2, but I think Chapter 5 Season 4 definitely gives it a run for its money. We also got Freaky Field, so yeah, that's cool. All right, my final response for this video comes from Alan, who says Chapter 2 Season 5, the season that shaped Fortnite crossovers and collabs. Now, Chapter 2 Season 5 falls into a really weird spot. Now, you say that this season shaped Fortnite crossovers and collabs, although Chapter 2 Season 4 right before it was literally an entire collab season, so I wouldn't say that it shaped Fortnite crossovers and collabs, but it definitely pushed them forward by a significant margin. I mean, it literally felt like every single skin that came out in the shop and everything that was new in the game had something to do with a collaboration. And some people like that, some people don't. Personally, I like a little mixture of both. I don't like when they do full collab seasons, and I don't like when they don't have a single collab in a season. And I feel like this season kind of treads on that kind of thin watermark. Firstly, this season introduced exotic weapons, which I feel like at the time were not good at all, especially when you see the ones that they added were just such bottom feeders now, like the Nighthawk, the Boom Sniper, the Dub. And you gotta remember back then, they cost a metric ton of gold, which, by the way, gold old was new in Chapter 2, Season 5. When I look back at Chapter 2, Season 5, I think of a really balanced meta, right? Like, it doesn't feel like there's anything that screams overpowered. In fact, I feel like it's one of the only seasons where the lever action shotgun was, like, actually usable. Lever action rifle, though, I don't know about that thing. That thing is booty. The Predator collab was just unbelievably underwhelming, and that's something that I can never forgive this season for. I was so excited for that collab, and it ended up being terrible. And while I'm not considering this season to be one of the best of all time, certainly not, I feel like this is a perfectly decent Fortnite season that players would love if it was in the game today. But since it tried to follow up Chapter 2, Season 4, one of the best seasons of all time, and just genuinely Chapter 2 was a really strong chapter, I feel like people didn't appreciate it when it was there, especially that goated Amban sniper rifle, because that thing came back in Chapter 6 and it was horrible. And also, quick note here, like, how about the LTMs, right? You got, you know, Laser and Fresh's Super Knockback Cup. You got Mando's Bounties LTM. And I feel like this is a Fortnite season that is completely decent, but I often see get kind of hated on, and I don't really understand that. This is a, well, decent Fortnite season. Alright guys, I hope you went on to enjoy that quick video, and if you want to see me talk about maybe Fortnite's most overrated seasons, I'm sure that'll be a hot topic one. Make sure you're subscribed and follow me on Twitter at TYFRYZ, because I will make this exact community post for you guys to reply to on that platform, and of course my community tab here. And who knows, you make a good comment, it gets liked a bunch, you will be featured in this video like some of the other fellas here today. Again, if you did go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave it a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. As always, peace.